22 minutes past the hour. We are live this morning from the Wilmington Convention Center as we continue our coverage live from the Greater Wilmington Business Journal's Power Breakfast series. I'd like to welcome back to our airwaves this morning in person candidate for the New Hanover County Board of Education, Nikki Bascome, joins us here at the Convention Center. Nikki, good morning to you. I appreciate your time.
Good morning, Nick. It is great to be here. Very early to be all the way downtown, but it is absolutely beautiful.
Should have tried it at 5 o'clock. It was a lot different seeing the sun wasn't up.
No, I'll take my 7. I'll take my 7 o'clock.
So we're here this morning. Obviously, I was just talking to John about this. The political season is getting started off a lot sooner than most folks would think. We've got a governor's conversation today, a presidential debate tonight. How is that translated into your race? Are you noticing things happening this early in the cycle, which I would argue is not normal?
Honestly, as I'm talking to the constituents around our county about my race, which mine is, everyone keeps saying it's a down ballot race. It's so small. Everyone is really focusing on these bigger races.
Sure.
I hope that they don't dismiss how important the local races are. And we still need support, and we still have things to say and issues that we need to get through in our own county. So as excited as we are about these big races, please don't forget the local races as well.
Let's talk about the issues in our county. We've got another budget meeting that is scheduled for 11 o'clock this morning. The current school board is running up against the clock in regards to getting a budget passed. They've got until Monday to do that. There's a lot of funding questions. Nikki, I know that you've been engulfed in this, reading and watching and listening to all of the coverage. Give us a 40,000-foot view of what's going on right now.
Oh, well, it's scary. I actually, watching the school board meeting just a couple of days ago when we were hoping that they were going to pass the budget, I was in a group text with a bunch of my coworkers that work at the schools, and just sitting back and watching and not knowing what your job's going to look like come August, and you're trying to make your plans. And I think so many people forget that they have families as well. They're
Sure.
not just a line item. These are people with families, and it's hard to watch, but I couldn't imagine what the school board was going through sitting at that table either. I try to put myself in that situation, and right now all I'm doing is going back through 6 years of budgets and figuring out how did we get to this point. On the bright side, the endowment made an announcement yesterday that they're giving $8.7 million to New Hanover County schools to help with literacy and pre-K. Of course, we would love for them to say, oh, we're going to save all the teachers. However, this is something that we can kind of reallocate money somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned that $8.7 million, that's set to be doled out over a 3-year period of time. So about $3 million or so over the next couple of years. But as you just noted that with the endowment, I mean, Nikki, as I look at this situation, the big issue is the use of one-time dollars for reoccurring positions. And I'm fearful that if there was, let's just say, a huge infusion of cash, this would be your problem sometime next year when that money would once again run out. That's what one-time money is.
It would be, but you know what? It's going to take a board over the next 3 years as we're getting this money over the next 3 years. It's going to take a board that's going to sit down and comb through things. I watched as some of the school board candidates or not candidates, but the school board members were talking about where can we pull this money from?
Sure.
Where in our budget? Well, now is the time for us to start looking at the budget for next year, not wait until the beginning of next year to say, okay, let's start thinking about the budget. Let's go ahead and do it now. Let's start coming through it now and find out where the mistakes were made over the last few years to get us to the point that we are in, so that this money that comes in and is going to be gone in 3 years, we're prepared for.
I'm glad that you just brought up they need to look at this over the next couple of years, because there's this idea, this indication, Nikki, that you snap your finger and you immediately turn the ship around of government, which is what school board is with government funding and everything like that. It does take time, and that's okay.
Most definitely. Well, that's the frustrating part, is everyone thinks that because we elected 4 Republican candidates to the school board, that all of a sudden they're going to be able to turn the ship around and everything's going to be right in the world. And you can't do that. It's going to take a little bit of time. And they're still trying to learn all of the ins and the outs. And I know that there's a lot of conversations behind the scenes that the public doesn't see, that I don't see. Things that you can or cannot change. General statutes. There's laws that you can't skirt around.
Calendar law is a great example of it.
Oh my gosh, what a mess that was for
Yeah.
a while. And it still is.
Sure.
That's something that, we're talking about a calendar. Well, that's going to come up soon too. And then we're going to be in another cycle of, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And everybody angry. It's just the flavor of the week.
Nikki Bascome joins us here this morning as we are live from the Greater Wilmington Business Journal's Power Breakfast series. A crowd now filing into the room. All right, Nikki, I'll ask you real quick. Big conversation today, Mark Robinson and Josh Stein. What are you looking for in regards to the conversation as a whole?
Oh, I'm so excited to hear some real content. I want to hear what their plans are for the future, what they want to do with our state, the direction that they want to go in. Because lately all I've seen are the smear campaign commercials, which I know that's part of the game,
Sure.
But I want to hear some real content. What do you see our state doing over the next few years? And how are you going to do it?
Nikki, for folks listening this morning, maybe they've got some questions for you. We're talking about the ever-important political donations so that you can conduct your campaign and run ads and purchase the literature that's required. How do folks get in touch with you and your campaign?
My website address is www.nikki4schools.com. That's www.nikki4schools.com.